Hello everyone, welcome to the Hisui podcast. My name is Wolf Taiko, and I'm here with K-Rate5, Nurse Ethan, and Tomix9 Tomix.
Hello, hello.
Oh. Wow.
Alright. So, how have y'all been?
So last week was my first full week of being night shift.
Oh.
So that's been a weird adjustment. I now have 4 days a week where I don't do anything. Like, I do 3 nights and that's it.
I'm still trying to find a job.
I'm rooting for you. It's
Well, Andy, you're still. Don't worry, you're
Yeah.
still plenty young.
Are you just looking for like a summer job?
Yeah.
Oh.
I tried to like go to McDonald's, and then they ghosted me.
No, you're better than that. You're better
Yeah.
than that. You know,
Like-
Mickey D's does not deserve somebody like you.
no.
I always recommend doing like some sort of like Parks and Rec job. Like
Yeah.
like I was a tennis coach for a while. I played tennis. I still do. But like you could do like summer camps. You could do you like rec sports. This is all assuming that you're okay dealing with kids. If not, there's probably other like recreational programs you can do that don't deal with children. But yeah, I always recommend those.
Yeah, and there's always your local fish and chip shop. That's where I worked in high school.
I really wanted to work for like a movie theater, and I like submitted to like 3 different ones. I heard back from one a month later, and they didn't have an opening, and then the other 2 I just haven't heard anything.
Yeah, movie theater part-time jobs, at least where I came from, are pretty competitive, and you would always need like a responsible service of alcohol license, which is slightly annoying to get.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I don't actually know anything because I've never. Well, I have worked in the service industry technically, but not in a very like in-depth capacity. So like, do like individuals need to get like licenses to serve? I thought it was just businesses that needed
In
licenses to serve.
Australia, at least, you need to do like a special 1-day course that's just like, hey, if someone is completely drunk and they ask for a drink, don't give them a drink.
Well, for the job I was going into for theaters, it wouldn't have any alcoholness, so that wouldn't have been a problem. But
And you could also do like, I almost did like DoorDash or like where like the jobs where you go to a grocery store and basically like shop for other people. Like I would never actually want to work at a grocery store, but I know there's like a service that like shops for you.
Is it
Some
Instacart?
delivery.
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, I think my mom uses that.
I don't know. There's like none of those kind of services around here, so I'm just like, I don't know. Most places it's like you either worked at the mall, you worked at some place that no one's ever heard of, or the chicken plant.
The chicken
Are you from a
plant.
pretty quiet place, Evie? I never really thought about that.
Yeah, no, I'm in the middle of like bumfuck nowhere.
I was waiting
Damn.
for you to say that.
I'm like I'm hesitating. Like we're a little early into the podcast. Can I say that word?
I don't think it matters.
No better way to say it.
No, there really isn't. Like I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so I mean, unless you're driving like 30 minutes to go somewhere no one's heard of, or one of the local places that nobody's ever heard of, you're probably working at the mall, the chicken plant, or some other form of retail until you graduate high school.
Damn.
I got really lucky and nepotism was in my favor. So when I was a senior in high school, my mom went ahead and got me on with the first doctor I started working with. And we just kind of kept rolling from there for 8.5 years.
Nice.
is
As a senior in high school, how'd that work? What kind of work did you do?
Mostly it was just data entry stuff at the time.
Ah.
You could do data entry and be like remote if you
Yeah.
wanted to.
Mm.
But the data entry sounds extremely boring to me personally, but
I don't know.
I
This
feel like I've learned so much.
we'll try to figure something out for you, Wolf.
Alright, I appreciate it, because I've been trying.
Yeah.
And definitely when McDonald's ghosts you, that's when you know that,
Yeah.
something's not going right.
Yeah. But what about you? What about you, Cade? Tom? Doing anything interesting here lately?
I mean, I say my life is super boring, but my schedule's been super busy this week. What was it? Monday? What did I have Monday? What did I have Monday?
Oh,
I
You
was
made me
busy.
remember
I was
Monday. Oh,
busy
wait.
Monday. I can tell you that. Oh, I played tennis. I played tennis Monday with some friends.
Nice.
Yesterday I did trivia with friends, and we're
Oh.
trying to plan like a little weekend trip in a few weeks, and then tonight later I'm playing basketball. So
Nice.
I am busy, but other than that I just work, and that's it.
Well, it sounds like you've got at least a somewhat decent social life. Better than some
Most
some
weeks
of us
it's
in
like
here.
literally I just work, go to the gym, and stream. So
hey, that's something.
I've been there, and honestly, that was an okay year of my life. I miss those days. That was pre-COVID.
For me, that was pre-move.
Yeah. Recently I haven't done too much. I mostly work. Oh, I guess a bit about what we've been playing recently, but I in preparation for the new Elden Ring DLC coming out, I bought it on Steam and I've been playing through it very slowly, and I've been enjoying that.
I forget that game's getting DLC.
Yeah, very soon.
Yeah, my
gonna
brother's
be
looking
good.
forward to it.
Seen a couple of
No, it's
people
fine.
put like I've seen it on their calendars where it's like one weekend of this month is Elden Ring, another weekend is Final Fantasy 14, and oh no, what's it called? Dawn Trail. And then something that's not either of those two. Either Elden Ring, Final Fantasy 14, or some third thing. I don't remember what it was. I'm gonna look it up because I don't remember. Like, this
What else
month's
is
got a
coming out?
bunch of stuff coming out.
I mean, I
Shush,
know
fam.
around that time my brother's looking forward to Tsukihime remake. Don't know if any of you know what that is.
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that, which surprises me. What is it?
Well, it is a visual novel. And the original was an eroge, this one is not.
Oh wow.
Oh, there's the
But, yeah, my brother loves Tsukihime, so he's looking forward to that.
there's the Destiny 2 expansion.
Yes, I actually heard. I mean, I don't know anything about Destiny 2, but I've heard that it's actually very good.
My I have a friend that really likes playing Destiny. I've heard about that a little bit.
I used to like Destiny until they had their layoffs back in October, and they laid off my friend Mallory. And I'm not a big fan of Bungo anymore, so
Oh, it's personal.
Yeah.
it's personal.
Yeah, I don't blame that. I don't blame you. But now, for what I've done recently, Monday was a whole trip. Okay, so it started off from like ever since I woke up until I got home at 2 p.m. We went over to a university to scope out colleges because I'm now doing that.
Fun.
Fun times. This is gonna shock you. It was a college.
Mm-hmm.
Most colleges are they're colleges. The- There's, I mean, there
Yeah.
are little things that make them different, but for the most part, they're colleges. But no, what was especially interesting about that day was we went to go see a movie. Ethan's already heard this story, because I said it on stream, because it was just wacky. So we went out to see this indie film. It was called I Saw the TV Glow. It's not really entertaining. It's interesting if you want to see, like, I don't know, there's nothing else really to say. It's just interesting. Definitely very artsy, indie. But it's been out for a month. It got pulled out from all the major cinemas, like AMC. And so we had to go to this kind of like bougie, small theater out in the middle of nowhere. AKA where Ethan lives, apparently.
Sounds about right.
And when we got there, the first kind of be wary sign was there were a lot of cars parked around, but I didn't see anyone. Now, that's not immediately alarming, it's just like, okay, that's a bit odd. Then we went into the theater, and by tiny, I mean the lobby is smaller than my living room. Like, just tiny. And so it's this tiny theater in the middle of nowhere, and I see this lot of people in suits. Not normal suits. Those kind of suits. And I was just seeing, like, people exchanging things and people getting things for free, but when we saw this, we had already used our credit card to buy tickets, and we were like, well, I guess we're in this now. And this is a Monday night in a small theater. Why the hell are you wearing suits? Like, that's a major red flag just waving in the air.
This was a cinema movie, not or like cinema theater, not like a play theater, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's weird.
Yeah.
Like I can understand for like a play theater where
play.
you're going to be seeing the actors and you might smell the actors. That's different.
No, cinema. And it was so bad. When we sat down to watch the movie, first of all, you could not see the cup holders. It was so dark. So you just had to, like, fiddle around, hoping to get it in the right spot. My dad eventually gave up and just held his drink. But then the movie lagged.
Oh no.
Like, it
No fucking
stuttered.
way.
And yes,
Oh,
and it was at this
no.
super dramatic moment, too, like, one of the times. And I was just sitting there like, ugh. And you're like, okay, please tell me the tickets were cheap. I mean, they were $13 per person.
It's
So that's
not.
only like $2. But that's only $2 cheaper than an AMC.
Yeah.
The experience was not the same as an AMC. First of all, I'm pretty sure there was gang activity going on there. I can't confirm, but I have some suspicion.
Yikes.
That sounds
Am
like
I-
fun.
My dad didn't want to say anything because he was worried I was going to nag on him for being racist because they weren't white. But no, it's just called not being stupid.
Yeah.
If they were white, I would have been equally as scared.
White
But,
people in
yeah.
gangs, who would have thought?
I know. But yeah, that was my Monday for games I've played. I did recently start playing Apathy.
Oh, you did.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How do you like it so far?
Oh, Andy, what are you about to say?
Yeah, what are you about to say?
I was scared for this. Literally ever since I started playing, I was like, oh no, this isn't gonna go well. It's fine. I haven't finished it, so I can't completely properly judge it. I don't know how much more interesting it gets near the ending. Right now, I'm at spoilers, kind of when they're locking down the whole town.
Okay.
Does it get much more interesting after that? Or is that kinda
just
how
you
it
wait.
stays?
Just you wait.
Oh, okay.
It really
Okay. Because
It is definitely
this just seems.
it's definitely one of those games that like I just did not expect, and it just like out of nowhere it just kind of popped off for me. I don't know if that's your experience, Ethy, but like it was crazy.
To me it was like a kind of a slow burn.
It is
Yeah.
kind of a slow burn, but
Okay.
my memory's pretty bad. But from what I remember, isn't the town locked down like one of the? Isn't it quite towards the end? Or no?
I feel like it was it gets locked down. Like you would expect it to be right at the end when the town gets locked down, but I think there's still like a decent amount of
Right.
content.
Okay. That's good. Because, yeah, I was thinking it was the end, and I'm like, wait, is this it? Is this
cra-
what
the
they're, like,
craziest
praising
things
the
that
hell
happen-
out of?
The craziest things that happen do happen, I feel like, after the town gets locked down. And I think also like
Okay.
a lot of the enjoyment of the game is not from, well, there is a lot of enjoyment to be gained from like the main story, but I think there's also a lot of enjoyment from like doing a lot of the other things in the like side things that aren't required.
Yeah. And I have been doing, I think I've done all of the side quest things. I think.
Okay.
Just because I'm like, I want to see more color. That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think of that whole mechanic? Because I think that is just something that really stood out to me when I played Apathy.
The black and white, okay, I'm gonna be honest. With a story I wrote recently, I did that exact same gimmick for that exact same, like, purpose. But it was a short film. So that wasn't really like, oh wow, that's so inventive. It's like, huh, yeah, I thought of that too.
Damn.
Okay, well, I'll
I-
warm up the hammers for next week.
Yeah,
I feel
I'll
like-
finish it by next
yeah.
time.
It's not like just because I don't know. It seems weird for me to like think that like, oh, if you're the fact that you thought of the mechanic, I feel like shouldn't be like put against the game though. I
No.
think it's
No, it's not put against.
I
it's
think
just...
I think it's more that like the way that it's pulled off. It's number one, the fact that it is not like a normal mechanic in a fan game, but also the fact that I think the way that it's implemented in terms of how like the character feels and whatnot, I think is the more impressive part to me.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it is really relevant into how it plays into the game, and it just works very well, like Cade says, because that's essentially the whole game is about the main character's feelings, and then having it be so when you actually go out of your way for other people and do optional things you don't have to do, but things for someone else, your world becomes a bit more colorful, and then you know that the character is starting to hopefully lose their apathy a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's like the whole game kind of summarized in that one mechanic, which I think is quite neat.
I mean, yeah, it's not... And by I came up with that mechanic, sort of, it was more just the black and white symbolizing kind of the bleakness in their emotions and, like, how they're feeling, and then it turning colorful once they see the world in a new light. It was, because, you know, it wasn't for a game, but... I mean, I'm not saying that as, like, oh, it's not cool because I thought of it. I'm saying it more as a... It just wasn't mind-blowing to me.
Okay.
That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I'm not saying, like, oh, it's bad. It's just, like, so far I'm just not impressed, but I'm willing to see it through to the end.
Yeah, give it a little
'Cause
more
it's
time.
not done.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But no, I know, Ethan, you've recently played Vanguard.
Yes. It's also kind of like, how do I say this? Vanguard has been almost all positives. I do wish we like didn't the lead up to oh, we're finally in school now. I wish that was a little bit shorter.
There's a school.
Okay. So are you saying like the section before like the school is like more of like a tutorial section? You feel like that's like drawn out a little bit?
I wouldn't call it a tutorial section.
Oh, okay.
Like narratively it makes sense. Like they make it make sense in the narrative, but if you're gonna put me in school, go ahead and just put me in school.
Yeah.
But it just I'm chalking that one up to taste, honestly. And
I haven't
but like
seen it or played it, but I'm quite curious. Can you just quickly talk us through the intro? Because I'm quite confused how... Because normally fan games that take place in a school or start at a school, normally you don't get to the school.
yeah, so
What happens before the school?
you know how in Pokemon Infinity you just kind of wake up and you have no memories, you only know your name?
Yeah.
So take that initial premise and take it to a new region. And then this lady finds you, takes you to her home, you wake up in her house, and it's like, oh, who are you? Why am I here? What's going on? And then she just runs out and leaves. It's like, okay, I guess I'll follow. And then you slowly kind of build up to like, you meet the professor and all this other stuff, and then after you have your first encounter with the evil team, you're suddenly your new friend ? And her mom are having this conversation. It's like, well, yeah, okay, I guess you can be a trainer since you have a Pokemon and blah 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 blah. And since my brother is also in cahoots with the academy, he like the brother's the one that gives you your Pokemon kind of, and just kind of flings you and this girl into the academy. He's like, yeah, I'll vouch for you. You don't have to worry about taking a test or doing any kind of like prerequisites. You're just in. So take this route, go this way, take a left, and there you're at the academy, and someone will meet you, introduce you, and all that. And I think that was an entire stream, was just me, like, the first 2 hours, I think, was just getting to the academy.
Okay.
Right. It sounds like for most of it, you didn't even have your starter. Is that right? Or...
You get it, you get it within the first,
Okay.
like, 20 minutes, I think. It's very expository, which definitely isn't a bad thing.
Do you feel like it's slower than like a intro to like Platinum or like Diamond and Pearl? Because I feel like those games are pretty.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. Like,
Interesting.
it definitely, like, the intro kind of dragged a little bit, but it still had a freshness to it. Like, I say all of this, and like I want to make sure I emphasize that there's a level of like, there's a breath of fresh air that's come with it that I don't know how to really, I've not been able to categorize it, but it just like Vanguard has given me kind of this like breath of fresh air of like, this has something about it that I've missed with past or current fan games. Like, this is something about fan games that I fell in love with back in 2014.
Yeah.
And it's so good to have that feeling, that rejuvenation of like, something about it has just recaptured me in such a way that I'm looking at the gameplay, I'm just enjoying myself, having such a good time, and I know where to go, and I can go. I'm still kind of exploring the world. It does have a bunch of side quests to it, which I'm not going to complain about. Sometimes that's how you grow the world a little bit. Gotta breathe. I don't know. It feels fun. And It's got a mix of something that I love and something that I don't love about like regional variants and stuff, where some regional variants are just it's Mareep, but it's a different color.
Yeah. Like, wasn't Fletchinger literally just blue?
Yes. Fletchling and
was gonna
Fletchinder are
ask
just
about
blue.
that.
But there are some regional variants that actually don't look too bad.
Yeah, I was gonna ask because like I remember seeing in their EV Expo like sizzle reel. I think they said there was like over 300 maybe like regional forms. So I was gonna ask like, does it feel like overwhelming in terms of like the new type combos and sprites and whatnot that you have to remember, or does it seem?
Well, it does
Does it
show
feel
the type
more natural?
combos.
Yeah, it shows in the like it shows on the screen like this Pokemon is a water and fire type, or a whatever kind of type. You just have to know what symbol is what type.
Okay.
And they added the sound type, which is kind of another thing.
Check
that
it
I
off your
hate.
bingo card.
Honestly, it is. I'm not a fan. If I haven't said it, if I need to go back to last week when we were talking about fusion is a cheap tactic, which I actually someone in my Twitter replies was actually trying to convince me to play it, just to like give it another chance of like, it's an old game, it's had a lot of updates, and maybe you might want to consider looking at it again in a different light now that it's been so long.
The Crimson in the comments did correct us and say it does have an original story.
Oh, it does. Okay.
Infinite Fusion, yes. It is in Kanto still, but I can read off Crimson's comment. Team Rocket attempts to create triple fusions and are unable to create one until they find out they need 3 Pokemon that relate to each other, thus they fused Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres.
Mm-hmm.
It is still Team Rocket though, so I don't know.
I mean, yes, but it's not literally just FRLG with fusions.
Yeah.
Like we were saying it was.
Yeah.
Okay. And give it a few more points. but-
Yeah.
Maybe
I
I'll
don't
give it
know.
half a point.
Something about it just makes me
Yeah.
not like it a ton. I don't know.
But I did watch a little bit of Ethy's streams for Vanguard, and I had a couple of nitpicks and also some good things. I do like a lot of the changes they do to, like, the battle system. Like, I didn't really see it that much, but couldn't you, like, spread out, what was it, the EVs?
Yeah, you can like in Ash and Frost, where you can manually set the EVs, the EVs. So you can set like my Fletchinder. I'm actually gonna just open up the game and look at it. And I forgot my desktop audio muted, thank goodness. Yeah, like my Fletchinder has a bunch of water moves that are special, but Fletchinder is very much a physical attacker still. So thankfully I have enough EVs to where it almost balances out.
That's nice.
Yeah, and there's lots of, like, interesting, like, gimmicks like that kind of just give a breath of fresh air, some interesting, differences. But I did have a lot of nitpicks too watching it, like, there wasn't an accent over the E in Pokemon during text.
Yeah.
And that drove me nuts. They did, like, default abstract looking indoor battle backgrounds with splotches of color, but then had really detailed outdoor battle backgrounds, which to me just didn't match each other. Like Ethan talked about, there were some regional forms that were literally just recolors. Oh, another one that really bothered me, the Overworld Shadow.
Oh god. I'm getting my
It
hammer
was
Is
back
it
there.
just
out.
not there?
No, it's there,
Oh.
but it's not symmetrical, so there are more pixels on the right than the left.
Oh, okay.
I sound crazy when I say this, but it drove me a little insane.
You are crazy. What is this with overworld shadows, Andy?
was asymmetrical, I tell you. Another thing, if I saw correctly, the protagonist spoke, right, Ethan?
Yes, he does talk.
Yeah, I already talked about how I haven't liked that on this podcast. Oh yeah, there are roaming Pokemon, like, in the routes in the overworld, but you can't battle them.
I've only had one instance of that so far.
Well, then that's even weirder.
Yeah, so I think it's just that one Hoot Hoot.
Is it like supposed to be like a trainer's or something like that, or is it like?
I don't think so. I think it's just that Hoot Hoot's got a little bit of a goof somewhere, somehow.
And then also
Are there
my
roaming
last-
Pokemon otherwise, or?
Yeah. Like there's
Oh,
a
okay,
bunch
so
of
it does just sound like maybe.
I think it's just that one Hoot Hoot that I could not get to battle me.
My last nitpick was just like the name window skin didn't match the text one. It was like the normal emerald speech bubble that the plugin normally goes with instead of their custom text box.
Let's see.
I guess I'm curious about because Andy mentioned this beacon, the non-silent protagonist. What did you think of it when you were playing? Did you find that it felt good or not really?
See, that's always tricky because, like, on one hand, I'm usually a fan of a silent protagonist. I don't know. I want to say that I've liked the character that they've got so far, but they also kind of they're kind of what is it, milquetoast? Just like I want to see our character do more, and I think I'm starting to get to a point where that will be the case. But I can't say much more for like spoiler territory, and like kind of I'd be at a speculative. Yeah, it would be speculative of me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe I'll be getting to a point next week, or I guess by the time this goes, next week. Next week, hopefully we'll be getting closer to more of the protagonist having something where maybe it'll make more sense for them to have dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, for me at least, again, just my opinion, I don't think that protagonist really needs a reason to have dialogue. It's more when they have dialogue and it gets in the way of the game. Like it really makes everything feel awkward.
Yeah.
That it makes me feel
I
like
guess
eek.
the reason why sometimes speech, like talking protagonist, feels weird is when everything else about them makes them feel like a stand-in protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when it, like, kind of rubs me weirdly. Like, if it's supposed to be like, you're going on this Pokemon adventure. Like, so I guess that depends on, like, the intent of the game. And what it's trying to do.
Yeah.
So when you say Vanguard as a game is good for those kind of protagonists, Ethy, or...
So far? I'd say so far, yes. I don't know. They don't talk too much, or if they do, it's just like shooting the breeze conversation with the other protagonists so far. So it hasn't gotten in the way of the overarching narrative, and has kind of built up a little bit of a dynamic between the player and the or the main character and the other protagonist. But I don't know. I'm still waiting on more more from where I'm at before I can definitively say anything.
The only thing with, like, if it's not supposed to be a, like, stand-in protagonist, why do you name it then? That's where I go with,
Yeah, that's
But
kind
I
of my
know.
big thing too.
We may see. But yeah, is there any other games y'all have played before we want to go into the main topic?
I mean, I just been playing Ashen Frost. It's a great game, as I always say. I recently had this one of the recent cases. I am actually on case 18 out of 20 as well, so I am getting pretty close to finishing the game. But one of the most recent cases, and I won't spoil a lot of it, but it was in this like it's like completely separate from like kind of the core world of Ashen Frost, and the player goes to this desert, and they're doing like some research. There was like this ancient civilization or some like tribe or something like that, and you're basically, it's very like exploration like focused, and you basically go through this desert and you try and like figure out what happened to like these people that are no longer there, and it's just like a nice little exploration focused mystery, which I really liked. That it felt like its own little like jam game inside of like Ashen Frost, and I really liked that. And I think the music as well, I don't normally say like the music was a standout, but the music was stand out. It really just, I don't know, I feel like I was brought to that world with the music that I heard. And also it is like a lot more impactful in the context of the Ashen Frost story, but I won't spoil that here. But it was so good. It just, I don't know, it felt like cozy kind of, which is not something I would normally use to describe Ashen Frost.
Yeah, no, not Ashen Frost. As much as I love Ashen Frost, I wouldn't call it a cozy game. As much as I want to.
Yeah, have you gotten into Ashen Frost outside of streaming now, Ethy?
No, because I want it to be a stream game, and we're gonna have to. I'll eventually revisit Ashen Frost and say, yeah, that we're actually gonna finish it. Maybe for real this time, I hope. Barring like
Technical problems?
every technical problem under the sun. Every time I tried to stream Ashen Frost, there was some sort of technical problem or like life problem or you name it, something went wrong. So I'm just like, all right, you know what? Maybe it's me, maybe it's Ashen Frost, maybe it's both. I'm gonna just hold off for a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Ashen Frost will definitely come back. It's just figuring out when that's gonna be, especially with a bunch of other stuff coming up in the future.
Like the jam, which is gonna start soonish?
My god, that's this month already.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
damn.
hyped.
Oh
I'm working with,
no.
Yeah, I'm working with Reek on a game. I'm hyped about it.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
I still need to finish the jam games.
You got this, Tom.
I do not.
So they are
I'm
going
not
to-
finishing them before the jam ends. It's not happening.
But yeah, have you been playing anything, Tom?
I mean, I already talked briefly about Elden Ring. I don't know. I don't think anyone else here has played Elden Ring, so I don't think there's much to say. But it's a good game, and I'm sure you all know that and don't need to be told it again.
Yeah. Alright, well, speaking of this recent jam games, let's move into talking about them now that we're, 40 minutes in?
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
This may be a long episode, because there were 24 entries. We may not talk about all of them if none of us have played them. But,
Yeah, and I like, we're just gonna like obviously we didn't like just play all of these games. We like you know
I know.
we
It's been a minute.
we're quite removed from these games, so like I have more to say on some of these games and less to say on some of these games. And I'm just gonna talk about what I remember from them.
Honestly, like once we're in jam season, it could be a lot of fun to like maybe each week we all decide to play a jam game and then we talk about that jam game, that podcast episode or something.
Maybe.
I'd be here for it.
We could do something like that for the pod. That's a later topic.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm gonna go in order on the Game Jams thread page on
Yeah.
EV Expo, and the top one is Enigma's super cute cat pics.
Banger.
Absolute banger.
Oh, Kate has a lot to say about this
Absolute
one.
banger.
Okay, this game doesn't actually like have a story. It's literally just like you go through a room and you see a bunch of cat pictures. So like you get to see cat pictures. Like I don't know what's more to say. There's also this like really cool battle at the end where you like face like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, which is like dope.
Yeah, I
as
was gonna
well.
say, don't you fight someone weird at the end? And yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember
So
that.
great game.
It does exactly what the title suggests. It doesn't clickbait you.
Nope.
Nope, not at all.
And the cat is indeed cute.
Yes.
Oh yes. I love seeing cute cats.
I need to send you more
Oh.
pictures of mine.
Yeah, I have 5 cats, so
Oh, sweet mercy,
I get
how?
lots of cute.
My God.
And my mom's like allergic to cats, but she's the one who wants them all, so you know. Alright, and next on the list is Pokemon Dungeons by Starwolf.
Is that
Um,
all of the
That's
images are
the
broken?
like. That's the fake MMO one.
Yes.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, this game's pretty good. I like one of the most beloved things I think about Star Wolf games is that like somehow they always get into like very very mature topics, and they're always treated like so well with like the utmost maturity,
Yes.
and like they are not immature, and they're
No.
like very gracefully dealt with, and it's no different with this game. In terms of, I don't feel as strongly in terms of like the gameplay as I do some of the other games on this list, because I feel like it's a pretty standard gameplay loop, and didn't really have me like coming back for more. But the story, man, was amazing. You know,
Yep.
there's like I think 4 different characters that are all kind of going through their own thing, and it's very impactful to get to the end of all of their
I'm pretty
of
sure
all
I cried on
their
stream.
arcs.
Oh,
Yeah, the story is that good.
oh no.
Yeah, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Like Cade says, I think they just make really great stories, and this game was no exception. For those who I guess don't know, because I guess we didn't talk about the summary too much, but it's a game where it's about playing an MMO, and then you go through these dungeons with other people's characters, and then you learn more about their real life going on. And as you partner up with different players, you get miniature cutscenes showing what's going on in their life, and you progress their arc. And it kind of culminates in a nice gathering of friends. And I think for like a lot of people who play fan games, they probably spend a lot of time online, and they probably have gotten a fair few online friends. And I think it's just a very nice, touching story for people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna rip off the band-aid. I dropped the game midway through playing it. So, if that discredits my point of view, so be it. I just didn't find the game loop enjoyable, man.
Yeah, I
From
can
what I
totally
remember. It's
understand
been a
that.
while.
I can
But
totally
I
understand that.
couldn't get through it. It was monotonous, a little boring, and I just... And no matter how amazing the story was, it was too small and sparse throughout to really like hook in and enjoy it.
Hmm.
So I was just like, I can't get into this. And then I just dropped it. But it's not like I don't like Star Wolf games. I mean, I enjoyed Terrarium.
Good, very good game.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see how the gameplay loop is a little.
Yeah.
It definitely leaves something to be desired. Is that the phrase?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like it was a dungeon for each type, and they were all quite similar. And I found my best way to get through was just try to get a strong Pokemon and get through each dungeon as quickly as possible, because there wasn't too much to them.
Yeah.
No. Alright, is that all we want to say about Pokemon Dungeons?
I think so.
Good game.
Next is Pokemon Elpis by Dogsky, Epiphany, Mizmi, and Manul.
Yeah, piss.
So, does anybody else play this game?
I played it.
Yep.
I apparently played 3 hours of it. Or my stream was 3 hours long.
Hmm.
Well, so this game, I love playing Dog Sky games because I always have like the most in-depth, like positive discussions with them like after I stream the game, and this game's no different. This game is like the open world like pirate ship game type of thing, where you like go around, and I forget. Basically, I think like there's, I don't exactly remember, but I definitely had like a few. I think I had a few nitpicks along the way, but it was great to have discussions with Dog Sky, and like it was like the proof of concept was great. I just think the execution was not all the way there. Like, yeah, this game has like yeah, you would like get to an island, and then you'd leave an island, and then you get on your boat, and then like the camera would zoom out a ton, and then there were also like supposed to be these like overworld naval battle things. That part I don't think was great in terms of execution, but that was pretty cool. And then there was also like the music was really good because they like, from what I remember at least, is they like went through and like really went down deep into the depths of the internet and found some like really old music that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, Elpis is a very, very cool game, and I think Cade kind of hit it on the head. But with Dogski's kind of games like this, at least between Frontier, Overcome Magikarp, and Elpis, they'll tend to like create a really cool mechanic or some sort of like concept and just absolutely send it. And it just makes it such a unique experience. And I think Cade's completely right. There's so much you can nitpick at with this game. Like, there's a lot of stuff that really doesn't feel good. The naval battles, completely unbalanced. In terms of traversing the map, you can get like quite lost and not know where to go sometimes. But just in being something quite novel and something completely out there for a game jam, it's just so mind-blowing. It's also a really beautiful game, and that it doesn't have a loss at any point. It's just consistently beautiful.
Yeah, Dog Sky games are... I've only played Frontier, tried playing Overcome Magikarp, but was not my thing. But yeah, he is very much...
I love Overcome Magikarp. It's so good.
That was fun.
Alright. Sure, you can have wrong opinions.
No, I'm just a masochist, man. Make me suffer and I will love it.
No, Dogsky, or Dog Sky, I don't know how to say his name, but he is a really... I truly respect him as a developer in just doing out there interesting, different ideas. And from what I've seen, I haven't been able to get around to Elpis, but it seems to be the same thing here.
Yeah, something else I want to touch on quickly, because Cade did mention this, and I think it deserves like quite a big commendation. Dogsky is always very open to have conversations about like how mechanics can be explored and improved.
Yeah.
And then if it can be like tweaked somewhat easily, they do tend to update the game and actually change it. I think just massive props to Dogski or Dog Sky, I'm not sure either, about that, because they very obviously do care and they're very open to discussing it. Just very awesome developer.
100%.
Alright, I don't know how many of you guys have played this, but Digging for Silver by Axis NZLC.
I think I might be the only one here who's played that.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
I have not.
We don't need to talk about it too long, but briefly, I believe it's from what I remember, it's a story that kind of incorporates some canon Pokemon characters, and it takes them on quite a like almost absurd journey. It's got a lot of like funny hijinks in it, and just the highlight for me was there's a Togekiss or Togetic that evolves into like a buff Togetic or Togekiss, and it's absolutely hilarious, and it even has like its own character, and that made the game very enjoyable for me. But yeah.
We'll have to play it sometime.
That's nice.
What? Just like you're gonna play Hito sometime?
Yeah, it is on my list. It's on my list. It's just
I
I'm
think
going
it's
through
better
a
just
lot.
not to commit to these things and say maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, I know, it's just joshing around. Alright, next is To the Lake by Never This Again.
I want to play this so badly. I've not played it yet, but I want to.
That game was a trip.
Banger. Dude, I love Never This Again games.
Yeah, me too.
They are one of the most underrated like dialogue writers, I think, just in the community. They are great in terms of everything.
Yeah, dialogue's so hard to write, man.
Dialogue is so hard to write, and what I love about Never This Again games is that they have like they're great at writing like silly, like off the cuff, like not super serious dialogue.
Mhm.
And they're great at incorporating that into what you would like expect to be like serious topics, and To the Lake is like a perfect example of that. It also like the premise is really cool because it's like these two people like trying to make like a true crime documentary, which is so funny, and then it just balloons into something real crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Never This Again games always have such like a good adventure in them. Just such a nice story.
I'll never get like. This is one of the few fan games that have additional fonts that you have to install, which is always one of the like that always kind of makes me think, okay, something weird's about to happen. Oh my god. Yeah, something weird happened. Oh sweet mercy, it happened.
Yeah.
God, I want to play this even more now.
It got weird.
I
It
haven't
got
gets
weird
weird.
fast.
It gets weird.
And I mean, when I say weird, I mean that in a non-derogatory
Oh,
weird.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's my favorite kind of weird.
Yeah. Alright, if we go out to the lake, after that is Pokemon X Plasma by Seth Fur.
We did briefly talk about this.
I think we did, yeah.
Just because it has a soft lock very early on.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I was the only one who edited the game to go past the soft lock.
Yeah, I didn't. I said
Yeah, I didn't
that
either.
soft locked me. Bye.
I'm just
I
gonna
don't
read
have the time for
my
it.
the gist of the comment I left on the thread because I don't remember too much. But it does take place between Black and White 1 and Black and White 2, and that was something I quite liked about it because it kind of shows the process from into Neoplasma that you see in Black and White 2. And it seemed like a cute game, but it was just a demo, so not too much to say on it. But yeah, like those little canon stories that add something nice in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like I really wanted to play this game, and I think I'm guessing the screenshots aren't probably up.
The screenshots are gone.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I remember
Why
the
can't
screenshots
people
looking
just-
great. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to play it.
Yeah, no, bugs can really devalue an experience of a great game.
Yep.
Or a bad game.
Well,
It
that
can just
and
devalue
like,
anything.
like, I don't think this game ever got patched.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
Ooh.
that's unfortunate. Oh yeah, it's only 1.0.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'd love to give it another chance. But well,
Yeah.
Alright, after Pokemon X Plasma is Pokemon Afterlife by Gangsta Nerd, Ash, and Lolo.
so this is a game I do want to give a second chance because they
Yes.
they heard my critiques of like I genuinely could not finish playing that game. The fact that my stream was 1 hour and 52 minutes was a miracle because I was like I could not get over the you've got a spirit, you put it in the thing, then you have to go find another one and then put it in the thing, and then like the back and forth killed it for me. And the fact
So
that
just
they
a
did
quick
change it.
summary of this game. It's essentially like a miniature dimension hopping adventure. You gotta go between like a real world and like a reverse world, but you have to collect spirits from the reverse world, walk them back, put them in a tree, and you have to do that about, I think in the original version of the game, it was about like 20 or so, even more times. It was a
Not
lot.
doing that 20 times. Not one at a time like that, no.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
the screenshots are still up for this game. I do remember, because I think I watched ET play this. The fogs are very strong.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that.
At least in the screenshots.
well, also you see that swamp in the screenshots. It's got that diamond and pearl mechanic where you get stuck and then you need to shake out.
Yeah.
Oh,
And this is in a game that, like, really the main critique is that you're just walking for 90% of it, and then they have that mechanic, and it really pushes you to your limit.
mhm.
I could see that. I mean, the
But
outdoor
apart-
maps look nice. I've seen worse. I like the
Well,
shadows
yeah.
on
So
the
apart
ground.
from that, it was actually like a decent concept, and it had a lot of cool features that I didn't get to see because, like Efi, I did not finish the game, and it had some like regional forms with cool evolution methods. I never got to see those, but that's very cool to
Yep.
hear.
I put it in my thumbnail. Get them clicks, but I didn't get to see them.
I guess like Ify was saying, the good thing about this, and the reason why Ify wants to go back, I imagine, is they did take the critique and they have actually updated the game since
Mm-hmm.
to redo the whole gameplay loop. So I believe it's very different now, at least in terms of how much you have to grind. So it should hopefully be a different experience
Well, that's
now.
good. I definitely like when developers keep in mind criticism and try to learn from it. I try to do that as much as possible.
Yeah.
I just think it's a good thing to do.
Yep.
Alright, after Afterlife is Pokemon Legends The Johto Incident by Sparta Laser.
I love this game.
This game is
Don't think I played
a
that
very
one.
good proof of concept. I feel like you know,
Yeah.
ever since Legends Arceus came out, we've gotten like different models of how you would do a like a Legends type fan game, and I think this was a really good, like, more traditional Pokemon gamey version of that. Like, you were still doing Um, I feel like you were still doing a lot of like classic Pokemon things, but it was like you still had like different ways to, I think, attain like the ores and other items, and there was still crafting, from what I remember. But it felt a little bit more like a traditional Pokemon region, and I think the premise of the story was really good, but there wasn't like a ton of progress made on the game, so that's why I call it more of like a proof of concept.
Mm.
Yeah, I really liked what I played, and it pulled a lot of stuff from Legends Arceus, like Kate said. It did have crafting, from what I remember. It did have alpha Pokemon. The thing I liked about the alpha Pokemon was that they were in like miniature side dungeons, side caves, side areas, and so it felt like quite a nice reward for going off the beaten path and exploring a bit more. Is you got this miniature boss battle with an alpha Pokemon, and you could even catch it. So I really liked that. The other thing I really liked, again, like Kate says, it was a demo, so there wasn't much story to it. But it already had a lot of like parallels story-wise to Legends Arceus, and I thought that was a nice touch and bit of good attention to detail in the narrative. Stuff like in Legends Arceus, Igno is separated from his twin Emmett, and then in this game they made it so that Tate was separated from his twin Liza. It's just like a really cool parallel to show, hey, like the connection between Legends games. But yeah, Ify and Andy, you guys didn't play this one?
No,
Nope.
for me it was just time constraints.
For me,
Uh-huh,
I've
they
just
are.
started to get tired of like Legends fan games. There's been a lot now, and I'm just like, alright, this used to be cool and inventive, but now it's starting to get repetitive because everyone's doing it.
I don't know, I feel like by the time you're tired of Legends fan games, you're just tired of fan games anyway. At least that's how
That's
I
fair.
feel.
Alright, after Legends, the Johto incident is Petra Mandala by Alterax, Geoswag, and no, Coractor, and Amari.
So I can't put actually I will say it had Swinub immediately available. 10 out of 10 game. Other than that, that's all I can really say. Because my computer crashed in the middle of my one and only stream of this game. And that was it. Or something.
Can
Anybody else play
anyone
this
here
game?
do a summary of it? Because I'm struggling to remember.
Yeah, so
I
you're
didn't
like,
details
finish
and
it
how to
because the
summarize it.
only thing I remember was this one area that the encounter rate was so high that every step I took, I got a random encounter.
yeah, so there's like,
That's all I remember from that game, and I remember like that and like other parts about it were just so painful that I just had to drop it.
yeah, I think this game,
Cade, do you remember much?
yes, I remember a little bit. So there's like,
Cade?
yeah, wait,
I
Oh,
Cade,
no.
are you there?
oh no, I was talking and I was muted, fuck.
Oh no.
Okay, no, I hadn't like started the summary, but I was like talking about it. I was like kind of interrupting a few times, like, why the fuck is nobody listening to me? Okay,
Uh-oh.
so Petra Mandala, at least at the very beginning, you're like, it gives you like the ability to side with like this like gang mafia type thing, and it gives you also the option to like side with the police. And for at least the first half of the game, you are like, kind of on that side in like this struggle. It's like the whole thing is like safety versus freedom. And you are supposedly like, I think you come in to the game like not having any memory, and it's like it's one of those games where you like slowly figure out what's going on. So I think you're supposedly supposed to be like this interloper guy who like is supposed to like actually decide for the entire world which one is better. So you go through this whole thing, and then you get there's okay, and then so there's supposedly like this was a demo. There's supposed to be 4 areas, and each of these areas that you like go to, which you basically dimension hop to, have a part of the Petra Mandala, which like I think is supposed to like control everything. So there are 2 areas in the jam demo version. The first is like this like wintry area, where like I said, you choose between the cops and the gang people, I guess. And then there's the second area, which is like this like forested pink vibe, which like there's like this dude who's trying to like, they're all like, it's like Attack on Titan style, where they're all like surrounded by a wall, so there's like rampaging Pokemon outside and they're like trying to get in, and one dude is like trying to like cure all of these rampaging Pokemon, and another dude is trying to just like beat all of them and defeat all of them, so they can like, because they want to like be able to live outside the wall or whatever. So then you also get to choose which side you're on, and that it's really interesting. The story I think leaves a little bit to be desired, just because I don't know all of the lore, and some of the lore was kind of confusing. But also there was just not a lot of story in terms of like the amount of gameplay you get, which kind of frustrated me. And then what else was there? Like yeah, the encounter rate was definitely, I think, troublesome throughout the game. But what I do really want to give this game credit for is there's quite a few new systems. There's like a recruitment system. So like you recruit, like when you catch Pokemon, you actually recruit them. Actually, no. When you beat wild Pokemon, there's a chance that you can recruit that Pokemon if you haven't recruited it yet. And if your party's full, then they'll just go to like, I don't know, PC land or whatever. But actually, every single Pokemon, even if it's not in your party, gains experience from a battle, which is really cool. So you can like swap Pokemon from your party for whatever you want. And that complements the new crafting system, because each Pokemon also has like, or not every Pokemon, but most Pokemon have like some sort of material that they just will gather while traveling. So then while you travel, depending on what area you are in and depending what like who's in your party, you gather different resources, so then you can craft different items from that. There's also like I think a skill tree based on like the crafting and like recruitment, so like so just a lot of different systems that are really good in terms of like the things that, so like overall I think a very, very cool game. But in terms of like story, which is kind of the main thing that I focus on, it wasn't the best, but it like totally deserved the spotlight, because it does something very different and it excels at that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be rehashing pretty much all of Cade's thoughts here, but I really liked the like new systems. Like you said, I think there was skill trees, I think there was crafting, a recruitment system, and then also a partner system. Recruitment system I think was quite well done. Crafting system felt good, especially tying into the recruitment system. Like you said, I think that's a really good like connection between those two. The skill tree, something I really liked about it is that it wasn't just like grind XP. To move up in levels, you had to reach a centered objective, like craft 50 items or something. So it felt kind of like enjoyable to aim for those goals, and that also made you want to craft more items, so you could go up the crafting skill tree. The healing thing was like a really odd, and this is quite nitpicky, but they had like a partner mechanic, except all the partner would really do is heal you, but then it was limited to finite uses throughout the whole game.
Ugh.
When you could just craft healing items, and so like I never ever used it pretty much, because it's like I'd rather just, it just felt really weird and really restraining, and then the partner never like talked too much. And then like
wasn't even
Cade
like
said about
overworld with you, I think.
No, it was just in like a menu. It's a cool menu, to be fair, but
Yes, it was.
like Kate said about the story, I feel like the story started a bunch of stuff. I'm like reading through my post on the thread now. Like you fall from the sky, like Kate said, there's a safety versus freedom thing, and you see that multiple times. I think you see that with cops and some gang, and then you see it in the Attack on Titan situation of behind the wall and outside the wall or whatever. And then the story, like Kate says, it doesn't really go anywhere, and part of this is because it's just a demo, but it was kind of a shame that you didn't really get to see anything progress too much. I did like the dimension aspect of it, because this was a dimension game jam. Every game, nearly every game, was built around the theme of dimensions.
Yeah.
And I thought they had a really good contrasting aesthetic between it, and it did make for something quite fun to be jumping between two dimensions that are completely different, but obviously have overlapping themes in their story. But yeah.
Alright, after Petra Mandala is the first of 2 of the 8 jam games, though this didn't start off completely 8 jam in the jam release. Pokemon Nightmare by Bombastic, Mega Greninja, Karthik, and Hystrug.
luck with that one.
Hystrucgon. That name.
And
I
Haunted
can
Ditto.
speak to this because I've also played the full game, which I'm not sure anybody else here has.
Nope.
I haven't played it
This
either.
game it's like very solid. This is the same team that did Recruitment, which won a spotlight from the previous jam, and that was a really good, really solid game. Same thing here, very solid. I'm struggling to remember what, like, the evil team is like people in Darkrai suits, but I'm struggling to remember exactly what the story was. So it's like, it wasn't a bad story, it just was not super memorable. I think the big highlight of this is just that it's like extremely solid all around. Like everything is very polished. I think the regionals in this game are like extremely top tier. And I think they're like it's really funny because this game and like Abstract, which we'll talk about later, have very much a lot in common, but also like a lot different. One of the major things is that like there's a very like the most important characters in the story of this game are your 2 rivals, just like Abstract. But yeah, this is a very, very polished game, and that's kind of what I have to say about it.
Another one for the list.
Yeah, I haven't played this either. I think I kinda got dealt a bad hand. A, because it wasn't finished.
Yeah.
Which I think turned off a lot of people, on top of, sorry, I pulled a pivot, and it kinda got overshadowed by Abstract a little bit. Just cause, like, when you had an option between, there's this 8 gym game with Fakemon made by Lycan, it's open world and complete, versus an incomplete 8 gym game by developers that are good but don't have any, like, when you see their name, like, ooh, I gotta play this game. So I think in that, it was kind of given a bad hand. But
I will
yeah,
say,
that's all I can say.
one other thing that I just remembered, this is one of the best balanced games I think I've played in a long time. This is also because my man Haunted Ditto balanced the game for the full version. The OG, yeah. Shout out Ancient Leaves. But wait, was he on Ancient? He was on Ancient Leaves, right? Please tell me I'm not.
He's
just
on like
talking out of my ass.
nearly all of your fan games, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, because Haunted Ditto is one of the best balancers, I think, in the scene. Super underrated. Sorry, continue.
No, that's... I haven't played it, so I can't comment any other than that.
Yeah, I can't either.
I haven't played it, but it is the next jam game that I will start according to my list. so I'll get to experience it soon.
Yeah, I had
Alright,
to
so yeah.
I had to put a cap on how many games I played from jams for the sake of if I don't, I will never play another game ever again except for jam games.
Yeah, well, I'm paying the penalty for that now, but I'm down to 3 games left. It's only Nightmare, Ladder, and To the Lake that I haven't played yet.
Oh,
I'm nearly there.
awesome. Alright, but yeah, after Pokemon Nightmare, did any of us finish Pokemon Picross Adventure?
I did
Not
not.
finished, but I
Caravan?
played a bit. It's like impossible to finish. There's way too much content.
Yeah, in a good way. Definitely in a good way. Too
Yeah,
much
it's
content.
also impossible to finish in a bad way because Pokemon Picross is just Pokemon Picross, but on PC with some new puzzles. Just like the 3DS game, you have like Pokemon that have abilities that you can use to help out with the puzzles. It's really cool. It even has these big mural puzzles that you have to collect the pieces for and then solve a bigger puzzle. And it is really enjoyable. You can play it, you can have fun. But I think because there were like so many puzzles made for it, some of the puzzles suffer from being having multiple solutions because they weren't like perfectly handcrafted. Because you need to be careful when you make a Picross puzzle because if you don't make it in a certain way, it will either, one, rely on the player having to do a 50-50 at some point, which isn't great, or it will rely on the player to just get lucky because there might genuinely be 2 possible solutions to the clues you're given. And I remember there were a fair few puzzles in that game that had multiple solutions.
Ooh.
I believe the dev did fix some of them, but I imagine some are still an issue. But yeah, it was a fun game. Just a lot of content, and sadly some problematic puzzles.
Oh,
Unfortunate.
alright. Well, after Picross Adventure, unless anyone wants to say anything else, is Pokemon Shattered Dimension by Celestial Firo, Mahian23, and JPA93.
Banger.
Can I just do... Oh, I was so worried that Cade was muted again.
I know, me too.
Okay, Cade, did you want to give a summary of Shattered Dimension?
Yeah, sure. So this is like the Dimensionist of the Dimension Jam games. I feel like,
Yeah.
and it takes a spin on dimensions that no other game in this jam does, in the fact that you're exploring the same map but in 2 different dimensions, which is really cool. I think this game, like, it's a Cerubia game, so you have some of the most underrated, excellent mapping in all of fan games. You have just a very solid adventure, well balanced, and super polished. And what I feel was different about this game compared to other previous Celestial Firo Cerubia games was that this game had a surprisingly underrated good story, in my opinion.
I
Yeah,
wonder if this is the game that... Wait, is this the one where you start with one of the fossil?
Pokemon.
This
Yes.
is the one where my computer crashed during the stream. I was wrong. It was not Petra Mandala.
Oh, I remember that. Just because I was
Oh.
like, oh, Ethan's gonna stream Abstract. Nope. Ethan's gonna stream it. Nope.
I mean, at least I finished Abstract. I had to mark Shattered Dimension as, all right, something tells me this is a bad idea. Just like all of the times that I've had to put off Ash and Frost because of every issue under the sun. So I didn't get to play much
Yeah,
of
I
this.
guess... I don't think I have too much to say about Shattered Dimension, but like Cade said, it's just a really nice Cerubia game. The dimension hopping mechanic one of my favorite mechanics to see in games, jumping between two versions of an area, comparing the differences and making use of the differences. Just really fun, really good stuff. Something I liked about this compared to some other Cerebria games, like, well, I think mostly the ones that came before it, is that this was completely story focused. There's no gyms at all. Each objective that you went to was progress in the story. It was a lot more of a tighter experience, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I didn't play. I haven't played a lot of Cerebria games. I think the only one I played was Legends Season Stone. So yeah, I can't really comment on it. But hey, it has a sprite made by me, so that gives it an automatic 10 out of 10. Alright, speaking of me, the next game is Pokemon Abstract version by Nan the Sword, me, Aldo, and Lycan.
4 out of 10.
I guess, Andy, do
Banger.
you want to
Wait,
give
did you
your...
say 4 out of 10?
I said 4 out of
You
10.
did say 4 out of 10. I think that's too high. Surely 2. Do you want to give your summary, Andy? It is your game.
Yeah.
Sure. Basically, Abstract, it's your traditional 8-gym Pokemon game made in a jam on its base surface, but on top of that, it's an open world game, and which there's a surprisingly few amount in fan games, I feel. It also has, at least try to give a lot of focus onto the story throughout development and not treat it secondary to the gameplay. I don't know if that succeeded. But yeah, overall, I think it's mainly... The story was about this region called... Not Asmos, that's a different region of mine. What the hell was it called? I feel so bad.
Velos.
Velos, thank you.
I'm looking at the thread.
The Velos region, which is split between 4 different provinces. All the main characters are from different provinces. I don't think anyone picked up on that. And really, the story was about the differences of people and kind of accepting and not trying to conform yourself to other people's standards and what other people want, and to kind of be you, but still be the best version of you possible.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this game is great. It is the exact model I think an open world Pokemon game should be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that people realize that, which is crazy because yeah, I just don't understand. But I have a whole rant for that, and I won't spill that here. This game's story is also incredible. Also, I did totally pick up on the fact that the 4 main characters were from different provinces. But yeah, this game's story is great.
Yes, screw you, Andy.
I think especially Lev and Irina.
Mm-hmm.
Just fantastically written characters.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is just like super polished. Nan does a great mapper. Lycan's a great writer.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf made a banger of a story.
Mm-hmm.
And
Aldo also did a great job.
yeah, though I don't know what they did. I'm sure it did a
he
great
also
job.
sprited.
Oh, banger. So yeah, just very, very great game. It was one of my favorite games of last year.
Yeah. Like I'm over here giving you shit, but honestly, like, banger game. I remember I just had a good time. It felt, I mean, some like with bleh, my mouth will work. The way that y'all did the level scaling was good. Whatever script it was that kept the levels consistent, I did like that. There wasn't too much of a worry about grinding, and the like it was very it was thought provoking. And that's something that I don't get from a lot of games, especially jam games. You don't have those that have that moral message intrinsically baked in the same way that you guys were able to put it.
Yeah, I guess I'll try to keep it brief, but it was a very clean experience and very fun, and it is very impressive how it's made for a jam of all things. Something that I think is forgot quite often is that it actually has new megas, which I'm always happy to see.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'm just reading the thread to help me out, but something I do want to touch on because Efi said it. I have my own personal qualms with level scaling, but I do understand that in this kind of game, it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
And there's something else I wanted to say. What was it? I think the open world is fun. It is like cool knowing you can go anywhere in any order you want. Oh, what I wanted to say, Kate already said this, but N did an absolutely amazing job with the mapping. I think it is my favorite thing with the whole game. Every map was
100%.
very well crafted, and it was made so that it could be traversed in any direction, which I think is probably annoying as hell to have to make. Massive good job to N. The maps were actually like
Oh yeah.
top tier.
Hmm. And also a lot of the like maps, like they just looked distinct and like interesting,
Yeah.
which you don't really see nowadays a lot. And that was also very important into having that feeling in the region that this was a diverse place with different cultures and different people. If they all looked like the same like mindless field, you would look at the story confusingly.
Yeah.
But since I'll only say one thing, since this was my game and none of y'all talked about it, which is understandable because he's not really known in the community, although he did help a lot more and doesn't get a lot of credit for the work he did, so I'll just list off the sprites he did do. He did the Irina and Lev sprites and designs. He did the sprites for Professor Cherry. He did a lot of the miscellaneous gym, later overworlds. He did the throwing sprites for the rivals. And yeah, that's what he did.
Nice.
So, you know, if
Very
you like
good.
the rival designs, you can thank Aldo for that. In my opinion, he's just like the most underrated spriter in all of Pokemon fan games, and I've loved working with him. So yeah, after Abstract is PokeEmblem A Trip Through Time by Kill Dario.
So.
So about this game, no one can talk about it because it was taken off Relic Castle because the dev felt ashamed and they didn't want anyone playing it. So that's that, and that kind of sucks that the dev felt ashamed of what they made, despite what I imagine they must have put a lot of effort into. So that makes me kind of sad and pissed off that they felt that way, which I think really sucks. But oh well.
Yeah, especially because it's a tactical game, so that's pretty interesting, but you know.
Yep. I
I would have loved to play it. I think no one should feel shame over their jam games.
No.
Yeah,
Just
I think.
think
Oh no, I'm gonna go onto a tangent, aren't I? Okay.
I guess should we, because we're coming up to 1.5 hours, shall we wrap up
Yeah.
after this tangent and where it leads?
Sure. Basically, I mean, I started with Trapped. It might be up there for one of the worst fan games of all time. I haven't played enough to say it is the definitive worst, but it's up there. And, I mean, I bet people who played it back then would have no idea that I'd be where I am now, and I think that's just because, I mean, like I alluded to before, I took the criticisms to heart, and each game, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna, shoot for the sky, that's a little unreasonable. What is one thing I can improve on? And then, okay, let's see what worked, let's see what didn't. And then for every jam, I would look back at all of the, replies on my thread and be like, okay, this is the one thing I'm gonna work on. I did that over and over and over, and slowly but surely, I did improve to the point of writing the story for Abstract, which is, I think the most successful game I've ever worked on. And, it's the first time, it's almost been a year since it's come out, and I can just look back on it and be proud of the work I made. And I really think I'd be worse off right now if I didn't work and try to improve. So even if what you make is really bad, just really goddamn terrible, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it just gives you an opportunity to grow and improve. And I don't think that you should stop because of that.
Yeah,
I think that's just a missed opportunity.
100%.
absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna shout out Crimson Tide. A few weeks ago, we went through and played a bunch of his older games, and some of them were, ooh, yikes, ooh, yeah, ooh. But then you can look at his Jam Summer Jam 9 game, Ultra Recon Tales, and you can see he has drastically improved over the past years, because he's an example of taking the criticism and saying, okay, how can I improve, and how can I continue to show that I am a serious developer, and I want
know,
to.
he even added overworld shadows.
I'm gonna kill you. You wanna know something, Andy? I was looking at the screenshots of Abstract. Your trees don't have shadows, or like proper tree shadows, and I think that's much more offensive than overworld shadows.
Oh, are you criticizing Lycan?
Well, I'm criticizing the tiles, or at least how they were used. For all I know, there were the correct shadowed tiles in that tile set, and you didn't use them.
Okay, what are you talking about when you say, like, tree shadows?
Well, you're using Gen 3 shadows, buddy, and you're not using the proper shadows that should connect them. You know what game did do correct tree shadows? Pokemon Lefarion.
Ooh,
Let me
I see what the
pull up.
hell you're talking about.
It's like this is something that I legit could not care less about.
I honestly care about this a lot more than
But
Overworld
I
Shadows.
do notice it. There's a level of detail that I've never done this for myself.
Okay, well, if you're not criticizing Lycan, you're then criticizing Nand.
Oh yeah, but then you're criticizing. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm criticizing Nand. I'm criticizing the tiles. You criticize whoever you complain about tree shadows for. It's the same thing.
Yeah? Mm-hmm.
I'm
you
making
can't
my
get at me
criticism.
either.
I'm leaving my comment on your thread.
Just to finish up the tangent, you can also look at my first game. False Order is just awful. And you know, if you go, like if you're going into something with a development mindset, you know, it's gonna be really hard to not improve, and especially in this community where I don't want to pat myself and the rest of us on the back, but I mean, I think this community is very good at like uplifting people and giving very solid feedback. So yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna say,
Yeah, I
if
guess
anything,
just something I want to say about it. Like I feel like I've played a lot of fan games. I don't think I've ever played a fan game that didn't have any effort put into it or any personal spirit put into it. And that's why I think it's very important not to be ashamed of what we make. Because at the end of the day, we're not making this for anyone else. It's not a product out there to be sold for the world. We don't measure our success in sales, because that's not the goal of making a fan game. We measure our success in how accomplished we feel with what we make. And I think just, you know, it's impossible with how fan games are. It's impossible to make a game that has zero care put into it. So at the very least, every fan game should be congratulated on the effort that was put into it.
absolutely.
Because it's impossible to fail on that mark.
Yeah, I think, like, that's why, like, a couple times, because of how bad Trapped is, I'm like, should I just remove it from, like, the EV Expo forums or the Relic Castle forums? But I've always chosen not to, and really it's for one simple reason. I'm mainly, and this is kind of my personal outlook, I'm not ashamed by it. I more see it as, and I show it, and I keep it up there to show how I've grown. And not so, because I don't want to give the wrong impression of when people see games I make, like, oh, he just started off good like that, blah blah. I'm like, no, I worked for what? I'm now 4 years into Pokemon fan game making. I mean, it didn't come naturally.
Heck yeah.
And it doesn't need to. and that's kind of why I keep it up, to kind of hopefully tell that story for people to know that. But yeah, I think, are we gonna wrap up the episode here?
I
Yeah,
think
we
this
can
is a good
definitely wrap
place.
up this episode and touch on the rest of them next time, because
Yeah.
Alright.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, I should probably have dinner.
Yeah, I've got to get ready for my own stream here in a little bit.
Ooh.
What are you streaming?
That's not my neighbor. Nightmare mode.
I thought you were gonna say that's not my problem. I was gonna say, I think it is. Alright everyone, I hope you had a fun time for us just talking about Relic Castle Game Jam number 9 games. I guess we'll come back to this next time. We'll start off with Pokemon Other Worlds by No Pro Bro. And yeah, this was a fun talk.
Yeah.
Yes, Josh. Oh boy.
Take care.